Now we are starting with the first panel discussion of the day. Over to you, Michael, sir.
Jai to everybody here. Jai Hind, yes. When you are saluted as Jai Hind, a Jai Hind is expected in response. Once again, Jai Hind, this August gathering. Thank you. Everybody is talking about skills nowadays. Well, in the first part of this millennium, we saw a revolution in the field of education. India has witnessed a lot of commissions in India, right from Hunter's Commission to the present commission. We saw the formation of various educational boards. We were under the Cambridge board, then we switched over. We had senior Cambridge board, and then we had ICSE board, and then CBSE board. Well, many don't know that CBSE board is just not a single board. It's a board of boards. Many bodies, many educationists, they have contributed towards this CBSE board with the acumen, the education acumen that they have, they imparted. We have various different sections that work and make the directors and the principals work easy. The curriculum that they draft and the long strenuous hours that they put is not easy. I've heard in many a summit, people usually criticizing the functioning of governments, functioning of the boards. I hope that they would have been a little more constructive in using their verbal acumen. Today, at this very pivotal hour, what I would like to start with is Education 4.0. Why is it Education 4.0? What is this 4.0? This 4.0 does not only deal with the taxonomy of Benjamin Bloom. It goes ahead and it speaks about skills that are required in this upcoming century, skills that will get you bolted to a different dynamic of the universe, and skills that starts ground rooted in your school. It starts with, of course, community learning, community of parents, community of students, community of schools. NEP lays a lot of stress in community learning, but are we educators actually grounded and doing it? That's a big question to ask. Secondly, we have now AI, artificial intelligence. How is it useful? Is it productive or is it destructive? How do we use technology? It is how you think. Swami Vivekananda very clearly said, as you think, so you become. And that is what we want to change, the dynamics of thinking in the field of education. With this, I'd like to request Mr. Amitav Garg, sir. He's not here. Okay. Sir Samir, can I request you then, Dr. Samir? I would request you, sir, that how can we make skills an integral part of our curriculum? And what are the tools that we need to start off with basics and then to move on to, from novice, then we go up to a certain amount of expertise and then we become experts. Morning, sir.
It is indeed a pleasure to be here on this It's indeed a pleasure to be here today and discussing skill education implementation of skill education in schools, basically. So what I as an individual am thinking about skill education is, there is a gap. I had a word with Sam Petroda way back, 10 years back. He was there in ONGC auditorium here. So what actually Sam Petroda said, and Sam Petroda is one, I believe you might have heard about him. He's the one who got this whole thing in India, initiative.
Yes, initially.
In 1984 he got computers in India, and then we gradually developed skills accordingly. So why there's emphasis laid on school? That is a major question. Nobody is addressing that. Why skill is important in school? Because what we can teach the young generation, they can explore and they can develop it further in their future endeavors. So skill is important, but the skill has to be identified. The skill has to be identified with what kind of skill. Even if you are walking, it is a skill. Even if you are talking, it is a skill. It is not necessarily and generally what, if we just think about skill, we think about machines, we think about computers, we think about other things. Skill is everything. Like physics is everywhere in school or in our daily life. The skill is also there, everywhere in every day in our life, right? So why there is the importance of skill education in school? Because what before, say 10 years, 5 years before, what I have been addressing to colleges also, हम जब 12th कर लेते हैं तो 12th becomes the passport. 12th की marksheet तो passport हो जाती है. Similarly graduation हो गया तो एक visa मिल गया, masters कर ली तो H1 visa हो गया. This was a concept. और उसके बाद हमें job चाहिए, so it is 5 figures, 6 figures, हमें job चाहिए. तो there 5 years or 10 years hence, the people who were giving employability, they found that people doing masters or doing a doctorate in something or higher education done, they don't have skill for what they are looking for job for. So that came down to colleges, from colleges it came down to school. Now what we are doing training is, आप भी अपने स्कूल में आप MBA का भी एक सेशन चला रहे हैं, आप एक different streamline से स्कूल चला रहे हैं. So that means you are nurturing a skill of a different axis altogether. It is not only academics. So the skill education there, I think, has a better role to be played, because what I feel is there has to be a connect between the parent and the school. आपने देखा होगा कुछ टीचर्स बाहर से आते हैं और जो आपके रेगुलर स्कूल में टीचर्स होते हैं, they are not able to connect with जो रेगुलर टीचर्स हैं, they are not able to connect with the students. So if somebody comes from outside, he is able to connect better, he is able to deliver better, the class learns faster. Why is it so? ऐसा नहीं है कि जो हमारे स्कूल में टीचर्स हैं, they don't have skills, but the communication or the learning expectation was limited, and for a shorter period of time, the child thought, yes, if I learn, I'll able to achieve this thing extra other than academics. So now skill becoming a part of daily academics is there by CBSE, and they want everybody to have one or two different kind of skills in each student. It could be anything. It could be AI, it could be robotics, it could be your music, it could be STEM, it could be, there's so many things. And with these kind of conferences which been held, so you come to know, just Kishore was addressing before, we have we have ocean of skills, but we need to pick one and each at every time. And students are there to learn. They have that inquisitiveness. But yesterday I was having a talk with somebody. I told about what smart classes. Smart classes is smart, but smart classes के लिए अगर smart teacher रखेंगे तो फिर smart classes नहीं चाहिए. बिल्कुल. ठीक है, और smart classes अगर आपने रखनी तो आप normal teacher रखेंगे तो वो भी smart हो जाएगा. पर बच्चे आज की डेट में देखते स्कूल से they are too smarter than us. हम लोगों ने as a parent हमने उनको सारी skill दे दी है. हमने as a parent, मैं भी parent हूँ, आप भी parent होंगे, तो हमने उनको सारी skill दे दी क्योंकि हमने उनको laptop दे दिया. हमने उनको मोबाइल दे दिया. अब किसी से आप पूछते कि why you have given a mobile to the child? As the school director, if I asked, sir, he was जिद कर रहा था, he was after my blood, तो मैंने अपना टेंशन छोड़ने के लिए मैंने उसे मोबाइल दे दिया. And this mobile culture these days has become a cancer. अब हम कुछ भी चीज करते हैं, मतलब आज की डेट में देखिए एजुकेशन इज कम टू वन पार्ट. No, it's no more a school bag education left.
Correct.
And if we are getting introduced to the palm top education, are my school students or our generation, these students, this generation of students, are they capable enough to handle that skill? Have we made them morally upright? So पहले तो जो हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं, पहले तो हमें हिंदुस्तानी बनना पड़ेगा. बिल्कुल. हमें संस्कार डालने पड़ेंगे. तब हम स्किल एजुकेशन को डेवलप कर सकते हैं. हमारे यहाँ जो एजुकेशन सिस्टम है बहुत अच्छा है. इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज प्लेस ऑल ओवर. जस्ट बिकॉज हमारे पे पहले संस्कार होते थे, फिर वो होता था, और हम लोग अपनी एक कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग पर पहले ध्यान देते थे. अब कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग तो हमने छोड़ दिया साइड, वो अब हमें मॉरल बुक्स लगानी पड़ती है. अब आप सोचेंगे
मॉरल साइंस
क्लासेस लगानी पड़ती है, बाल विकास करना पड़ता है. ये चीजें आई क्यों? क्योंकि हमारा पेरेंट से बच्चे का कनेक्ट खत्म हो गया.
बिल्कुल.
हम स्किल एजुकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, पर हमें पहले वो कनेक्ट को डेवलप करना पड़ेगा, उस कनेक्ट को स्कूल में लाना पड़ेगा. And we have to change. Now the role of teachers have been different. School educators are now, they are moderators. They are basically motivators. They are no more teachers. आप देखो कि एक फैन फॉलोइंग होती है स्टूडेंट की टीचर की तरफ, वो मोटिवेटर होता है. वो उनको बच्चों को मोटिवेट कर सकता है. इट इज लाइक वो हमने सुना था ना, वो देयर आर टू मेनी रैट्स और एक पाइपर था. हाँ, तो वो उसको लेके गया, वो बच्चे रैट हो गए. अब आपको पाइपर ढूंढना है जो उन बच्चों को आपके साथ अट्रैक्ट करे. तो उसके बाद स्किल एजुकेशन स्कूल में आए. स्किल एजुकेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट. बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म हैं.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Very well said. Please come. Yes, ethical moral values. We often say that a family that prays together, eats together, and prays together. Now they also should play together, because then only you find the bonding. I see this missing. We are running St. Joseph's School. It's a co-ed residential school in the district of Saharanpur. And it becomes very difficult to convince a parent, who is a farmer or who is a businessman. It becomes very difficult to convince that, Sunday's class, we are having a football camp. You drop your son on Sunday. Just make that effort of dropping your son to school. They say, nahi sir, hum nahi kar sakte. Ek hi din milta hai. I have experienced a lot of changes in those students when the school was established till 2024, and this being 2025, there's a lot of changes in the way the students think. Because in my school, we do Charan Sparsh also, and there is no good morning, good afternoon, good evening. That is a Sicilian kind of a salutation that was imbibed into us by the Britishers. So in our school it is Jai Hind. I myself, being from army background, I am forced and emphasize on Jai Hind, which is very important. Haryana government, they started this last July, after we started it in 2001. So by year, I think most of the states should start with the salutation Jai Hind, because Jai Hind means you're praising your motherland. Not being too patriotic, but I say that inculcating this salutation Jai Hind gives you a feeling that you're not only celebrating 15th August or Martyrs' Day or 26th January. You are there for the country, and it gives a good vibration. It gives a very positive vibration. And now to the second question, ma'am. Nidhi, would you be? Okay, ma'am, you tell me now, how do we actually, as teachers and educators, mentors, what are the standards, or you can say the baselines, or the parameters, if you use terminologies, parameters, by which a teacher can identify a particular skill in a particular student?
Jai Hind, sir. It's a very interesting question. And very, very close to my heart. For me, it's been 20 years in education. I started my career as a teacher, and very soon in my career, I got to know that the teacher's job is not to teach. It is not to share knowledge. It is to take it from the students, right? So your question, how should we actually see what child exists in a what skill exists in a child? It's a very interesting question. For that, the simple answer is be with the child, understand the child. Every child is unique. Every child is different. I'm sure all of us agree to that, right? So when the teacher is there with the child, and if the teacher truly understands the child, she will be able to understand how the child learns and how the child would like to also be assessed for that matter, right? So there are different, so there are two things about it. CBSE, the Central Board of Secondary Education has set a benchmark, set a framework which everyone has to follow, right? But then it's very important for all of us as educators to foster creativity, foster innovation in the schools, right? Develop the skills in the learners for, as Sir was also saying very rightly, foster skills in them, foster creativity in them so that we can make them future ready. That's very, very critical, right? So identifying the skill in the child will only be possible when you are completely involved in the child and you give them different ways of exploring their own potential.
Wow, that's very good.
So,
yes, like what you actually want to say that if you want to teach Rahim Sanskrit, you got to first understand who Rahim is. And to understand who Rahim is supposed to love that child, approach that child. So approachability should be such that you can approach the child can approach you. And when you understand the child, of course you can make the child realize that he has a potential to learn different languages. He can be a linguist. So why can't he pick up Sanskrit? Why can't he pick up Maithili? Why can't he pick up Pali, Prakrit? These are the languages which are now no more news, but sooner or later with this government's help, I think that will be part of our curriculum too.
So I would like to share an experience here. So it was many years back, so I've done hundreds and thousands of orientations for parents and teachers and for school leaders. So in one of the interactions, parent came to me crying that, the teacher always complains that the child doesn't talk in class. So the child from nursery to LKG to UKG and now the child is in class 1 and the same consistent feedback was flowing from every teacher to the parent that the child doesn't talk, he doesn't interact, he doesn't open up in the classroom. Now just after that orientation was my session with the teachers and I asked the same question to the teachers. I said, if the child is not willing to open up in the class, whose fault is it? Is it the child's fault or is it the educator? As an educator, I couldn't make the child comfortable in the class, right? So that was the food for thought and that was, with that we broke ice with the teachers and the teachers understood actually, that this is what my role is. I have to make my child feel comfortable, feel safe to be able to share anything. The children do not like to share anything because they have the fear of being ridiculed in the classroom. So we have to give that kind of atmosphere where anything and every answer is, should be accepted. We accept every response. You want a response of what are the sources of water? A very small child in nursery, gave an answer that the source of water is a tap, and the teacher said no, and I was really disheartened. Why not? That is what the child has seen, right? So every response, if we actually respect the responses of every child, we are there for the child is when we will truly understand what the child has, what potential the child has, and we can keep developing on that.
Wonderfully said, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
I just, big round of applause for ma'am, because she actually hit it on the nail. The power of positive thinking. As educators, as parents, you must read the power of positive thinking, and you must also read Chanakya Nidhi. These are two books that are very close to me, just like the Bhagavad Gita and the Holy Bible, very close to my heart. You all should read it, and I'm sure you'll get to know a lot. Another book I would suggest is Lateral Thinking by Edward Bano. Wonderful book. If you read that, you'll become a different persona altogether. That hidden persona in us, we think that we reached 40s and 50s and we cannot change. No, we can change. If an insect can live for 76 years and then reproduce and the very next day die, that's the power of nature. So positive thinking, manifestation is very important. We must teach our children to manifest positively. That yes, I can do it. Yes, I can conquer it. Yes, I can scale it up. Yes, I can achieve it. Yes, I can be successful. Yes, I will be the best. अगर ये मंत्र हम बच्चों को सिखा देते हैं, इससे बड़ा गुरु मंत्र कोई हो ही नहीं सकता। यही मंत्र परमहंस जी अपने शिष्य स्वामी विवेकानंद जी को बताया। उन्होंने कहा कि I want to see God is Kali. So Paramahansa ji just put his feet on his chest, and that was a turning point from Narendra Dutt to Swami Vivekananda. So the power of positive thinking is very important in schools, and it's good that we don't criticize the child all the time. If we criticize the child all the time, the child becomes how we visualize the child. A Japanese experiment was done in 2 glasses of water. 2 glasses of water, very pure water. The Japanese scientist cursed a glass of water, and the other one he blessed. He said good things about the other glass of water, tumbler of water. And eventually, the glass of water that he kept cursing, that he kept, degrading and blaming and, saying all sorts of negative words, it soon started to rot. And the other glass of water remained as it was in its physical state. In the same environment, in the same temperature, same pressure, same temperature, same density, no change. But the other glass, water became undrinkable. So that is the power of positive thinking and manifestation. Thank you so much for being so patiently such a patient audience. Thank you very much. Ma'am, can I go to... Ma'am, can I come to you, ma'am, with a question? I believe you're the owner of a school, ma'am.
Well, I'm heading a school.
Yeah, you're heading a school. Can I know your name, please, ma'am?
I'm Soneyaa Kumar.
Okay, ma'am, Soneyaa Kumar, you're from DPS Do.
Yes.
Right, ma'am. Now, don't you think, ma'am, that big brands, they profess to be child-centered and giving holistic approach and giving a lot of sources and resources to students, but ultimately an IITian comes from Bihar, from a government school. Our IS officer comes from school in Bihar, say from Baraj district of UP. Now, how is it that the student in DPS or in a very branded school, any school, nothing personal, don't take offense, it could be St. Joseph's School, does not become an IS officer, but that child who's come from Baraj, from some small little school, has made it up? Is it because of the environment? Is it because of the role of the teacher? Is it because of the family traditions? Or is it because the child itself had that kind of zeal to excel and achieve something? What is it exactly?
Well, in my opinion, first thank you for the question. In my opinion, all these factors are important, whether it be the family, the educators, the environment, and plus the student's own zeal to do something in life. So if the child has a focus and they want to get it there, and the family is supporting them, and with the right kind of education, the child is able to achieve that. So all these qualities which one imbibes in school, which are persistence, being resilient, being focused, so all these habits help the person achieve what they want. Of course, it's your personal goal. So if I want to be, for example, I want to be head of something or, in politics tomorrow, I have to work hard. I have to have that learning around me and focus to be able to go there. So I think all the factors are important. It's just not one factor. And like you said, a small village and a school in the city, the child may not be able to achieve that. Again, it depends on individual goals.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Yes, so I think all the factors are important in building that up.
Ma'am, I would just like to prolong the question a little bit,
Yes.
make it a compound sentence.
Yes.
What kind of qualities do you look into a child who's just entering into his adolescence, where you can check out whether the child has scientific temperament, he has artistic skills, or he has linguistic skills, he has sporting skills. Now, how do we actually analyze and extract that skill out of the child at this very age?
Firstly, it's to provide that kind of an atmosphere and environment and give the child the resources to test
Actually,
what is.
all private schools, especially big name schools, they have this environment. They have the facilities, the infrastructure, but somehow they fail to bring out a footballer, or bring out a cricketer, or a chess player, or maybe a good badminton player. But they have all the infrastructure, but they fail, but they fall out. Why is it happening? That is my thing.
See, because this entails training, like if I talk about the sports field, so the children have to be exposed to that kind of a program where they can invest that kind of time to learn a particular sport and shine in that. So if the child, when we see, especially in middle school, when children come in, certain children are not academically that oriented, but they are very good in sports. And so we start honing their skills at that time. We start giving them extra time in that particular thing. And then we have specialists in to even assess, what can we do further to assist the child. So, those are the things which we, in any field it may be.
That we must thank 9+1 Media and of course Britannica Education, because they've got many partners
Yes.
who play a pivotal role.
Yes.
And that is one reason why I think we are all here, because we want to pick up certain partner where we lag behind. So you answered it, nailed it very well. Thank you so much. Please can it be a little thunderous applause, please? Thunderous, because it is thundering in the morning. With all due respect, very warm welcome to you, sir. I thank you very much. And my next question, sir, I'll not dilly-dally. Samar, maybe please introduce yourself, sir.
A very good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Sandeep Khanna. About myself very briefly, I was associated in Dehradun with two prestigious schools almost for 21 years. When I started my career in Dehradun, and I started with Belgiums and then shifted to new school, both our own schools. So I spent almost 2 decades here, and then it was 2013 I shifted to Maharashtra, Pune to take over as a head of 2 schools for 10 years, and now back to my place where I come from is UP. In Moradabad I am heading a school which is Shirdi Singh. So it's a pleasure to come back to Dehradun. It has always been a pleasure whenever I'm invited here.
Most welcome.
So with my long experience of 35 years, I would like to share my thoughts as well.
Right, sir.
And I just take 2 more minutes. I'll continue from where ma'am left, because we worked together for a very long time, I remember to face. So what question you asked about the facilities which are given in the prestigious schools. So I somehow disagree to what statement you gave, because in these 2 experiences we produced wonderful people from these Belgiums and Doom. For example, I just share, Zubin was my student in 2005, and he was not good at studies at all. But it was the teacher, and he never had any background, he has a political background. But there was a teacher who caught him young, that he has interest in music, and she started training, and he also had those skills, and gradually now we know where Zubin Nautiyal is. Similarly, we have Gukesh, everybody knows, entire world knows Gukesh. He started early at the age of 12 years, right? And his father was a doctor who left his profession to train him. He went personally with him. Mother was earning as a physiotherapist and supporting father and son to develop those skills. And as a result, he became world champion. And the list goes on.
Yeah, the list goes on. I totally agree with you, but these are just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
What I mean to say that if I look into the history of St. George's College, 4 Olympians, 1928, 1932, okay, bringing gold, okay, and that time facilities were none. There were none, no facilities as such, but they produced 4 great Olympians, okay. Why aren't the Olympians coming from these schools? My question is that where, as educators, as teachers, where do we fail in harnessing that kind of genius that is hidden? Maybe a good hockey player, basketball player, maybe a good shooter, so maybe a good kabaddi player, but we fail, and then one sits and realizes that I've given 30 odd years to this line, okay, to this industry, and I've not seen a single medal strapped to the chest of my student or garlanded by a gold medal. So my questioning is what should be the ability of an actual teacher to take out, like Eklavya, he made a statue and he was practicing. Now everybody cannot become Eklavya, of course, but then how do we put ourselves in that place of the guru of Eklavya? Because that pratha has to come back. We have become too modernized, we have become too stereotyped, and we have almost ate all the British kind of strategies and the British kind of way of life. Where Indianness has gone. The actual Indianness is gone. I've seen a lot of Gurukul schools. I go and visit because I want to learn. Gurukul schools, yes, but where is that kul? Guru तो नहीं है वहाँ, कुल भी नहीं है. तो मेरा आपसे ये प्रश्न है कि ये सिस्टम को कैसे लाए वापस अपना जो एक्चुअल संस्कार है, संस्कृति है, और जो टीचर का जो एक भाव होता है, वो जैसा पहले था वैसे पूर्ण जीवन कैसे लाए? हाउ टू मेक इट अगेन इम्बाइब दैट टीचर्स नीड टू बी अवेक, नॉट स्टूडेंट्स. Students are very, very awake. Let me tell you, students are very, very awake. Now teachers need to be awake. Teachers need to be more sensitive, because okay, CBSE says, and our Honorable High Court said no corporal punishment. But here, without any ado, I say, being a director of a school, I also use corporal punishment when it's required. Because as the old saying goes, spoil the child, spare the rod, and spoil the child. We don't do it every day, but it is necessary. Because unless the child knows what a flame is, the child will never approach the flame. Once he approaches the flame and he feels, oh, this is dangerous, the child refrains. So my question to you, dear sir, is, after so many years of experience and of course wonderful schools, Welham boys and Welham girls, I've had good associations with them, round table conferences, if you know, of course. Now I want to say, where these big names, okay, so if they're big names, they should give big number of outputs. When I talk about Tata, then you say, huh. When I talk about Reliance, you say yes. Now these schools are existing right from early 1800s, 1900s, like St. George's established in 1853. And they have the best infrastructure that I've seen. But where is the product? I want to know, if I put my son there and I'm spending over 18 lakhs, 11 lakhs on my child, but he's just becoming a 90%er, 98%er. That's it. So I want to know where the teachers are failing and what the teachers should imbibe.
So, firstly, we were talking about the skills. So, let us come to the basic again. Skill is what? Skill is a ability to expertise in something, Carpenter may have a skill which is not with us. So, what the schools have to do, introduce first of all the skill education at the school level. In CBSE we have a complete department of skill education which is headed by Dr. Saha, and there's a list of skill subjects. For example, they have introduced in grade 6 to 8 also. There is a list of about 33 subjects. Grade 9 and 10 again 22 subjects are there. And 11, 12, there is a list of 43 subjects.
Correct.
But if we see, as many school leaders are here, how many of schools have adopted these subjects? Because they are additional. And what we think, we means most of us, that it is an additional cost, additional burden. We have to hire a teacher to teach or train those skills.
Sometimes you don't get the teachers.
Sometimes you don't get the teachers also, but sometimes you have to identify in the existing staff as well.
Correct.
For example, I'll just share my own experience. When I was placed in Pune, I was heading this big group of school. My daughter was also studying. Then we introduced this subject called financial market, FMM. CBSE inaugurated the subject in NSE, Mumbai, National Stock Exchange. I was also part of that when they did the introduction part. At the spot, they gave us the sanction. Believe me, my own daughter picked this subject in class 9. She continued in 10, and now she got an additional 6 subject qualification, which is certified. And we also talk about machine learning, AI. That I think I'm talking about 5 years back. That time also NSE conducted the practical part on systems. At the spot we got the results. So what I'm saying, it is up to every individual school to introduce these subjects. We also have a Ministry of Skill Education and Entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Right? So things are there in place, but it is up to the schools, individual schools. It doesn't matter, it's a small town, big place. I've traveled, I'm now in the 3rd state. After Uttarakhand, I went to Maharashtra, now back to UP. I also have a wonderful infrastructure. So what we have done, I tell you one incident. I was in Pune, so one day I went to a pre-primary class. I was just casually talking. I asked a child, this is potato. Do you know where it comes from? How does it grow? So the answer was, sir, we get it from the mall. Because the child has seen this only. My parents go to the mall every Sunday. They pick potato, other vegetables, pick it in a basket and buy it. So child has no clue. Is it a vegetable or what it is? So what I have done in my current school, since we have a big land, we have introduced organic farming.
Wonderful.
We have created patches. The students bring their own seeds, they sow them, and then they grow, the seedling comes. Then we put the labeling also with the names, English name, botanical name, Hindi name. And gradually now they come to know. It is called experiential learning. Obviously everybody knows that, okay, this is turnip, this is tomato. Everybody knows how it comes. Is it underground or is it a fruit? So there are so many things which can be done at the school.
I understand, sir, what you exactly said, but I would just little, it is worrisome that when I talk about any particular teacher, I know that when you go back to flashback to your school days, Gurdeep Singh sir, okay, I remember him because he taught me boxing, he taught me hockey, and he taught me swimming also. Okay, and he was neither an athlete nor was he a sportsman. Okay, he was just from the army, but he had the knowledge of this. But he imparted that knowledge very skillfully. So I said, where as teachers are we failing today? That although you may be a very avid reader, but are your students also avid readers? How to make reading compulsory, and then draw the skill of auditory skills, theatrical skills, okay, and also writing skills. A small example. So I'm saying, I want a view from you, like what you like to tell the upcoming teachers or the present teacher, what skills that they should imbibe so that they can transform those, or just give those skills even away to the students, like transcend those skills. Let the skills be imbibed by the student, and the student realizes, okay, this is what I'm able to do. So what kind of advice or views would you like to give?
I think most of the schools have these hobby clubs, co-curricular activities, under that, like, I just tell you. If we have to first of all identify the teachers, like suppose ma'am is very good in cooking, so we have created a club called Fireless Cooking, for example. Then we have paper recycling. We have people for animals, or somebody who's a nature lover, who who can, take care of dogs or some stray animals. So it is up to the teacher. And another thing, teachers have to update themselves and upgrade, very important. Today's child doesn't need knowledge. If you go to the class, maybe the child has already gone through the content. Google Baba is there, Wikipedia is there. He is aware what you have to teach him, how it can be brought into practice, how it can be connected to real world situation. Those abilities we have to develop, and that will come with training, obviously.
Thank you so
much.
much.
I've also just recently completed in Uttarakhand. It is controlled by CEO in Dehradun. They have trained 500 teachers and principals in this Dehradun region and nearby. Now this was done by ISTM, Institute of Security Training and Management. And now these 500 people will further go to different schools and train the teachers. So this is the need of the hour. We have to train these teachers, identify their skills, and then they will pass on their skills to the students.
Wonderfully said, sir. Wonderfully said. And I think, sir, what you said just now, I think 9+1 media along with Britannica, they're trying to actually harness that same thinking process. I think they have all the experts in different fields, where you've got it, writing, theatrical, adventure sports, or Universal University. I see a lot of round glass living. They all are expertise. They are experts in their own field, and I think it's a very nice platform. Thanks to, of course, OnePlus Media and of course Britannica for bringing them all under one umbrella, so that before we move on from here, we should actually visit those counters there and extract what is actually what you need for your school. With this, I would like to thank Britannica and OnePlus Media for this opportunity for discussing with eminent educationists and enthusiasts who are still very young at heart and giving their best to the field of education in whichever way they can. And I can only pray to God to keep them healthy, keep them safe, and may their expertise pour down like from the case of Lord Shiva, Ganga flows down and feeds the country. The same way, your knowledge transcends from the crescent moon, from the case of Shivji, and flow to your houses of your students and their various families. And may they get this Guru Mantra from you that yes, what I think I can become, like what Swami Vivekananda said. With this, I take your leave, sir, and thank you very much for being part of this wonderful panel discussion.
We may give them a lot of opportunities and everything, but in the end, the parent will come and say कि मैंने इसको खेती भी सिखानी हो तो मैं घर में सिखा देता हूँ, आप लोग ये क्या करते हो? So those kind of things we face every day. So I think to partnership with parents where skills go is very important. So I think teachers are doing a lot these days. They're multi-talented, they're learning professionally, updating themselves, but I think somewhere we have to take the parents along because their mindset is still very different and they're still aiming for the grades and just those kind of things. So it's a lot of discussion which can happen, but yes, thank you for bringing that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Nidhi ma'am, to please felicitate the moderator of the panel, Mr. Michael Dsouza, Project Director, St. Joseph's Schools with an award. Can you please have a huge round of applause for all the panelists? Next up, Nidhi ma'am, please felicitate Dr. Samar Singh. Next up, please felicitate Soneyaa Kumar ma'am. Last but not the least, please felicitate Mr. Sandeep Khanna. Now I would like to request the moderator
member of the panel, Mr. Michael Dsouza, to please felicitate Nidhi ma'am. Thank you all.